Alright, so now with that detailed face frame assembly that we did in the previous video, the last thing that we need to do is actually lift the entire face frame up all in one big piece and slide it directly on top of the bookshelves and make sure it lines up exactly where it needs to. And as you guys can see, it's actually a perfect fit. And the last thing we need to do is actually attach everything to the bookshelf. Originally I was planning to use some, I believe, 1¼ inch GRK screws from the inside of the face frames on each one of the bookshelf units, coming outward to all my, to the additional face frame styles. That way all the fasteners would be hidden on the inside of the bookshelf. But the amount of time that it would have took to actually drive all those screws, make sure everything was clamped and pressed tight to where it needed to be, ended up being a little bit much. I think a few 18 gauge nail holes wouldn't be too bad on the outside of this face frame. So we're going to end up wood filling all those and getting them sanded flush for the homeowner. That way they don't have much to tackle themselves. Again, hiding as many fasteners as possible, and it's also practical for the job install itself. I didn't want to charge or spend too much time trying to hide all the fasteners that the cost of the install ends up going up significantly. But yeah, so pretty much the only thing we have to do now is make sure everything's on this reveal lines, tag it up with the 18 gauge gun, and then we have to measure for the crown molding that's going to be installed. It's going to be I think a 4 5/8 colonial crown. And this is also where we run into the inspiration change. Right about now is when the client comes out and they realize the problem that you guys might be noticing now is the size of the recess panels. I tell them based on the height of their bookshelf to have their crown and still have the same amount of reveal on your 2 horizontal styles around your recess panels. With the height of the bookshelves, the recess panels themselves end up being fairly small. They could have went all the way up to the ceiling and had no crown and had a larger recess panel, or made the bookshelves themselves smaller, maybe like 5 to 10 inches smaller, but then you would not have been able to get away with 3 shelves. So it was a little bit of give and take. They ended up making a slight pivot, so we ended up having to actually take all this down and rebuild it. But they also want me to build some custom cabinet doors, so we'll continue on with that process back at the shop. So if you guys have enjoyed, let me know down in the comments. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.